Hi everyone, my name is Peter and thanks for joining me at Our Worship Sound. In the last video, we talked about some things you can do when you're learning a new song that will not only help you learn the new song, but help to build into your long-term growth as a musician. It only takes a little bit of extra time and attention, but if you do some extra steps, it'll really begin to build your ability as a musician. We talked about this chord progression, and we played it in the key of A flat major. And that's the first thing that we did, was identify it as being in the key of A flat major. And we figured out this scale. And then we began to identify what chords we were playing in terms of the scale number that they were built on. So example, it's not just a D flat chord, but it's the 4 chord within the key that we're playing. It's not just a B flat minor, but it's the 2 chord. So if you want to review that, you can go back and watch that other video. I'll link that for you. And then the other thing we did was just play through the inversions for each chord, so we get those things under our fingers. And that will really begin to build your long-term growth as a musician. We're going to talk about 4 more things that we can do, and this is going to get a little bit more into like an intermediate type of skill set. But the first thing you can do for this video is you can alter some of these chords, and the way that we're going to do that is by adding the 1st and 5th scale notes to any chord that doesn't have them. So again, going back to the A flat major scale, our 1st scale note is A flat, our 5th scale note is E flat. And so what we can do is add those notes to any chord in the progression that doesn't have them, because those notes are going to sound good in any chord. So as we look at this D flat chord, it has the A flat, but it does not have D flat. So we can either add that, or we can add it and remove the 3rd of the chord. That's another trick. Okay, and what ends up happening is you end up with a kind of a more modern sound than just playing all just straight chord triads like you start out doing. So add the E flat to that chord. We're gonna end up kind of doing the same thing with the B flat minor 7. That A flat is already there, but we can add the E flat, either add to it or replace the F with it. Okay, A flat has both of them, so we don't need to alter that really at all. The F minor has A flat, but we can add E flat to it. Okay, again, we could leave out the F if we wanted to. F is kind of getting left out of a lot of these chords. But that's another thing you can do, is alter your chords by adding the 1st scale note and the 5th scale note to any chord that doesn't have them. It'll make those chords sound a little bit more modern. So that's one thing that you can do. The next thing is a little bit ambiguous. It might be the most difficult thing for you to implement, but that is try some different rhythms than you would normally play. Okay, and the most helpful thing I can tell you of this is that most of the time, our tendency is to play rhythms that are too busy. There's just too complicated, too much going on. If we can learn to simplify those, and starting out at the beginning of a new song is a good time to do this. So if you're used to playing something like what we can learn to do is give it a lot more space. So just okay. And then I was watching a video last week. It gave me a really good idea, a really good rhythmic idea like this. So do that. Listen for other songs, listen to other parts that keyboardists are playing, and begin to just like pick up on rhythms that they're doing, and then try them out in a new song. And that'll build your rhythm repertoire and help you do some new things and kind of break out of the norm there. So try some different rhythms, and then the next step is to add some simple melodies. Okay, and there's a lot we can get into about playing melodically and improvising with what we do. The best tips I can give you are: 1, keep it simple. Limit it to just 3 notes starting out, okay? And we're going to determine those 3 notes based on scale notes. But the other thing is, once you do that, let go of trying to carry the chords with your right hand. So your right hand is only going to do melodies right now, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to work with the 5th scale note, the 7th scale note, and the 1st scale note. Okay, so we're just going to use those 3 notes in the right hand. I'm not going to worry about chords at all, because the chords are going to be outlined in the left hand. And the way that we're going to do that is just by playing the root of the chord and the fifth of the chord. Or if we want to add another one, we can add an octave up top with our thumb. So that's for D flat right there. For B flat minor, I don't have to worry about those other chord notes with my left hand. That makes it sound muddy. So I'm just going to do the root fifth and octave, root fifth and octave, and just doing that and playing the context of the chord progression is going to be enough to carry the sense for what that chord is. Nobody's going to wonder what chord you're actually playing. It's going to make sense. So right hand, you're only thinking melodies. And left hand, you're outlining the chords. So these three notes, outline the chord in your left hand, and here we go. You can play them in different octaves and stretch it out a little bit. Then go back and try one of the rhythms that you did, like this. Okay, so very simple, really easy to implement, but I guarantee you that is going to have more impact than trying to do. Sound a lot better. Even though it's simpler, it's going to have more impact. So I encourage you to branch out, try some things melodically, limit yourself to 3 notes of the right hand, outline the chords in the left hand, and just go for it. You can do that. And finally, what will really help to ingrain these concepts, I think, is going to be to do this one exercise, and that is to transpose it to a different key. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, instead of playing this in the key of A flat major, which is what our chord chart is written in, we're going to play it in A major. So if you reference your music theory guidebook, which again, you can get that at ourworshipsound.com/music theory, and I'll put that link in the video and the description again. You can get that free, and you can get it really quickly through your email. We're going to transpose this from A flat to A major. So we're going to use what we know about A major, and it has 3 sharps in it. It's F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. We can build that scale and know that our 4 chord is going to be D, our 2 minor chord is B minor, our 1 chord is A, and our 6 chord is F sharp minor. We can alter these chords by adding the 1st scale note and the 5th scale note. And then we can add these melody notes in here. And as we use these concepts in a different key, it really helps to reinforce what we're learning. And it's gonna, I think you're gonna find you're building these connections between not only your brain, but your fingers and your ears as well. And those are the 3 places where we need these things to connect, is our brain, our ears, and our fingers. And transposing it is a really good exercise to get all these things happening in a different way. So I hope you'll be willing to try those out. Again, that resource to help you is found at ourworshipsound.com/music theory. Try a few of these steps with the next new song you learn, and I think you'll find there's really helping to build into your ability as a musician. So I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below, and be sure to subscribe so you know when other videos are coming up. Again, check out that free resource at ourworshipsound.com/music theory. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon.